Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
If you're a fan of comic books and comic book conventions, Daytona Beach Comic Con needs to be on your list of must-attend events. It's a show that actually focuses on comic books. Imagine that! This year's event is happening on Saturday, September the 6th, and Sunday, September the 7th. Silverline creators will be there, so we'll see you at the show. There's a new convention in town, and it's sure to be mega fun without the mega expense. Comics, toys, collectibles, pop culture. ShadowCon, Saturday, February 1st, 2025 in Orlando, Florida. Silverline creators will be there, so we'll see you at the show. If you find yourself in the Orlando area, and let's be honest, doesn't everyone come to Orlando for the House of Mouse? Head over to Coliseum of Comics to get your comic book fix. Be sure to check out their location on East Colonial Drive, where they carry a wide selection of independent comics, including Silverline books. Stop by and don't forget to tell them Silverline sent you. Hey, if you're an independent comic creator looking to get your comic printed, look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our comics and do a fantastic job. They can even print special edition covers. When you reach out to them, be sure to tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kilber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday nights as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
I swear to God that I pushed Wednesday start. This is what happened when
Welcome to Tuesday, folks.
Second Tuesday this week.
We are talking conspiracies. It's all a conspiracy.
I pushed Wednesday start the first time, and it went to Tuesday. So I tried to push Wednesday start again, and it cut us off.
That's so funny.
This time I pushed Wednesday start again, and it went back to Tuesday. So don't ask me. It's a conspiracy. There's someone trying to get us. There is a bug in the internet that's trying to get us. So if you guys haven't figured out, we are going to talk conspiracies tonight. And so this fits right in. We had troubles getting on. If you've ever been a fan of the X-Files or Men in Black, you know that conspiracy theories can make money. They can be very, very lucrative. I also know that there are some comics out there that put out by Zenoscope. It's a series of comics called Conspiracy, and each issue covers another conspiracy. So if you have a chance to look those up, please do. And also Paradox Press has put out The Big Book of Conspiracies by Doug Mensch, which has a whole host of artists that have contributed to this. I highly recommend that one as well. So guys, are you conspiracy nuts? Do you enjoy the good conspiracy theory?
Absolutely.
I know you are, Martin. I already knew you were. Because you brought up a few of them in the past. How about you, Kaz?
To a point, I guess. They can be very, very dangerous, right? And they can kind of center you on things. So, things like aliens and AI. There's a point. There's a point where it's intriguing, and then there's that tipping point where it becomes depressing. And so I try and steer.
And lately, that fulcrum has moved.
Yeah, yeah.
It's closer to our end.
Yeah, I try not to go to the tipping point because I'm a very feeling based person at times, so I know I can get lost in that. So I try and not do that anymore and just kind of, go to the intriguing, thought provoking part and then I'll pull myself back if I can. Sometimes it's really hard, especially when it's down a rabbit hole. It gets really hard to kind of pull yourself back. So.
Right. And then there's then you get to that weird point where you're blurring the lie with the truth and you're no longer sure which is which.
Yep.
But you know that something's off somewhere and you're like, okay, there's some truth here, but there's somewhere where it's gone into the deep end and you're like, okay, now it's gone too far, but you're not necessarily sure where the line got crossed, and then you just throw up your hands and like, I'm out, right?
It's like hearing a song and then you don't know the song, but you hear a bad note. You hear like the chord is wrong, and you're like, this sounds really ugly, but I don't know it enough to know. Is that wrong? That doesn't feel right? Yeah.
Jazz music,
like the opening chord to Hard Day's Night.
Yeah. But you, Rob,
I love it. I love it in my fiction. I love reading about conspiracy theories and the Illuminati and alien invasion and cover-ups like that. But I think the thing about a lot of conspiracies is that it caters to the capability of human beings to see a pattern, even if there isn't one.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's appealing to. That's the part of our brain. It was evolutionarily that was a safety mechanism. You're going, well, those weeds over there are moving. There might be an animal over there. So it's that kind of thinking that this kind of stuff appeals to. So Carl Sagan said something about if it's something really wild and crazy, then you need, if it has an exceptional basis, then you should look for exceptional proof of it being that way. That's not how he phrased it. I can't remember the exact quote, but that's essentially it. If it sounds wild and crazy like a conspiracy, start digging for the evidence. And if you can't find any evidence to back it up, it could be a conspiracy that's so deep that it's completely covered. But I don't think there's ever been a conspiracy that's with more
really
than two
hard
people.
To keep something buried completely.
Two or three or more people, if they're involved, somebody's going to break eventually.
I don't know.
It's going to come out.
So this is where we're like defining the term conspiracy, right? In what level? Because conspiracy can be just at the base level, people who conspire together to do something, right? Whether or not that's in secret or in the open.
The thought crossed my mind. Mission Impossible essentially is a conspiracy to fool somebody.
Right.
It's a hoax. It's or not a hoax, but a caper, a heist, a heist caper. It's like that. So that would be a conspiracy of a sort, where they conspired together to fool somebody. Yeah.
So you kind of end up in this weird muddy territory sometimes because conspiracy can be like, it's factually a conspiracy. Like it is actually people conspiring to do this thing, right? And then you could, on the flip side, have conspiracy, which then becomes this kind of like nebulous mystery thing that's kind of in this like weird zone in the weeds, like you said, where the animal is hiding. So then when those two things become conflated, sometimes then it's hard to even separate the real conspiracy from the false conspiracy.
Yeah,
and
my thinking on the title for this episode is that we're talking about huge
Yep.
conspiracies like the grassy knoll, the
Mhm.
guy from shooting JFK from the grassy knoll, and
And
stuff
that's on
like
my
that.
list of things to discuss tonight.
Lizard
That's-
people. Yeah.
well, it's interesting. It's interesting
lizard
because that
people.
stuff is supposed to be released in the near future, is it not?
What was the TV show, The Invaders, where the
V?
pinky was always?
Oh,
It was The Invaders, where the aliens had stiff pinkies, so their pinkies always stood out. If I
Hmm.
remember right, that's how you could tell that they were the aliens.
That's funny.
Weird.
I have a series of some of the most popular conspiracies that we are going to go through tonight. I steered away from being too political, and I
Thank
steered away from being
Good
too
idea.
grim, like 9/11 conspiracies.
Yeah.
That's not fun. Nobody has any fun with that stuff. So I
No.
wanted this to be tongue in cheek. So obviously we have to think about
Yeah.
Yeah.
was the moon
Well-
on stage? Now I want not only do I want to talk about the conspiracy, but how you would use this in a comic book.
I mean,
Just throw out a quick plot.
I mean, it's been used several times in a horror setting, right? Like, but gosh,
Well, they did.
I
They
mean-
used it in one of the Superman movies, didn't they? They didn't. Or was it Zod and his? They came along and punched the astronauts into space or something. I seem to remember that being in like Superman 2, where Zod and the other criminals from the Phantom Zone show up at a moon landing and just wreck the scene. So I don't know.
So I mean,
in
people
the
who say
comic,
that the
people-
moon landing was staged. They would have to be a lot more sophisticated in their filming processes back then than
you think so? I don't think so.
you don't think so?
Not back then, no. Back then, no.
Well, if you
were
look
hungry
at
for-
the photos, if you look at the TV broadcast, yeah, that could easily have been faked.
Yeah.
But if you look at the photos that they took, and you look at the science of the photos that they took, there's no way those are faked.
But
They
how-
really
There
were
are
on the
people.
moon.
There are people who would.
Yeah, I know. You know,
How did
there's-
the president call him on the phone?
It's so true.
Yeah.
I mean,
800
Here we go.
dial the moon.
there's several things.
1-800 Apollo 11.
So I'm this one I'm 50-50 on. So like, are we going to like to determine whether or not we actually believe it or not, or is
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I mean, do you
okay.
believe in it? And
No,
if
not-
I'm
not-
50-50.
I
not
believe
in
we went to the moon.
Not one iota.
You don't believe we went?
I believe we went.
Oh,
I don't
I-
believe the
oh.
conspiracy.
I
that
watched
we
it
didn't
live.
go, and it was, yeah,
I
me
believe
too.
I believe
was a
we
little-
went.
Did you?
I do not believe that what we saw was everything or was accurate, because I don't think. I mean, think about it. You know, would you broadcast something with that high level of failure so that someone could see that failure, right? Like,
Yes.
it has to be a controlled viewing.
When it's
So I do
that
believe
when it's
there are
that
layers.
important, yeah, you would.
And you
I
had
don't think
that
so.
many. They
I don't
took
think- I
hundreds
think-
of
I don't think
people
so.
in mission control, plus the astronauts and everything. Not one person cracked.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
that's questionable. That's
Yeah,
questionable
I don't know if that's true.
because there's video. There's video. Buzz Aldrin. I'm pretty sure it's Buzz. One of the astronauts said, "Yeah, that didn't happen."
And you know they released you know, and you know how
Buzz
real. That's why I
Aldrin.
hate these. How real or
Buzz
fake
Aldrin
this is.
punched out a fan who walked up to him at a convention
Yes,
and was berating him for being involved in the conspiracy.
But-
He
but-
punched the guy out.
Yes,
Literally,
yes,
punched
but
the guy out.
But you have to know. Well, the guy was being a jerk, an absolute jerk. But you also have to know he didn't answer the question. He refused to answer the question.
He didn't
Because he didn't
dignify
give
it
it
with the
any
response.
credence.
That's all.
That's what he said at the time. He said, "I'm not going to dignify that with any answer other than this," and punched the guy.
I mean, here's my thing.
Still didn't answer the question, but
I watched.
I'm
I watched
50-50.
the moon landing live. It was my brother's
me too.
birthday,
Me too.
and there's no way they could have staged that without a single glitch. I mean, they filmed continuously for a long time, and if it was they couldn't have. They couldn't
Did they
have.
film this? Did they film the spaceship landing on the moon?
No,
No,
not at the.
they
no,
had a
live.
camera
Not
inside.
But,
They
but,
had a
but Barb, do you think it's fair to say? And now I'm not saying that it didn't. I believe we went. But do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you can control what a person sees. Like you're assuming that you're watching the actual.
But they filmed the astronaut getting off the machine, right?
Yes,
So how did the camera get there before he got out?
it was in the side of the limb.
Yeah.
It was on an arm that came. There's a door on the side of the limb that opened up and it came out.
Oh, okay.
They had to open it from. They had to pull. I don't remember what they pulled. Whether it was they opened a lever or whatever they did, but a panel opens up with a camera on it, and that's how it was. That's how they did. They went over and picked up that camera, put it on a tripod, and it took pictures of them, took
And
video,
the feed
live
was
video.
continuous. Now somebody
Yeah.
could not
Yeah,
splice a continuous feed together for that length of time and have no mistakes show.
That's if the feed that you're watching is actually that's the conspiracy, right? The conspiracy is the feed that you watched was not the actual moon landing. That's why they could continuously show it to you, and they would continuously broadcast it to you, and everyone around the world saw this miraculous thing. Now,
Have you ever tried to do something in one take?
I understand that it's hard to do things in one take. I'm not. Again, we're asking for the counter argument, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
The counter argument is that you can. There are things that are done in one take, right? Like with a lot of rehearsal, and there are things that are done like that. And you have to admit, Barb, when that was aired, there was not a lot of people who could refute that. It's not like we had a lot of experts in filmmaking, right? You had the people who
So
were
they had these guys on wires and making them slow
the biggest
down.
proof that it actually happened is if it hadn't happened and we faked it, the Russians would have figured it out and they would have blown the whistle. They didn't. They haven't. They won't. It really happened.
Now, Woody, you don't know my age, and I'm on this podcast to talk, so I'm not going to shut up. And I'm not trying to tell you what you're watching. I'm not saying that
He's devil's advocate, which
I'm not
is
saying that it didn't happen. Right? I'm
He's
saying
playing
that
devil's
you can watch
advocate.
something. The argument, there are tons of arguments why it didn't happen, right? The physics of it all, the dust blowing up, like there's tons of evidence that people present.
All right.
Good stuff. I don't know.
So Barb and Rob are 4, and Kaz, you're leaning.
He's playing devil's advocate.
I said it before. I think we went. I don't.
Oh, you think we went? Okay. And I'm 50-50.
I don't. But the conspiracy to me is I don't think what we were exposed to was the full story of the moon landing, and that.
Okay. Interesting.
That's
interesting.
I would agree with that, but what we saw is what was broadcast, and that's I mean, no, but it wasn't edited or any of that. In fact, it was broadcast live, and I think no one taped it. They finally found this one place in Australia where one of the dishes were that were receiving it that actually did tape it, because otherwise all we had was the live broadcast. We didn't have film of it. We didn't have any film except from the cameras that the guys took. Yeah, exactly. It just added to the conspiracy theory. Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to the next one because I've got more of them to cover here.
But yeah, that one I feel very strongly about that one. So
okay, so this one is called the dead internet theory. Most of the internet is
Okay.
fake, and that's a citing posts from major online discussion forums. The theory claims that non-human bots are responsible for almost all online activity and content creation. So,
Oh, well, I mean,
Yes, we are. We only
Uh,
yeah,
no, yeah, almost all content
Wow.
creation.
mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, I don't
No,
I don't buy
No.
that.
I hate to tell you guys this, but I'm a Russian bot. I fess up.
Yeah. That's what I'm.
I
that's
knew
what
that one,
I'm
Bobby.
Well, I
saying,
mean,
too.
I think there probably is a lot of AI content that's being generated, sure, but
there are bots out there, but not the majority of stuff.
So this
Yeah.
hails back to can we play a game?
A war game?
Yeah.
So
Which was,
I mean,
yeah.
you could really take this conspiracy theory and spin it off into something scary.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
it'd be great
Yeah,
to
you
fix
could.
Very
it.
Skynet-ish,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
you know. So I think this would be a good conspiracy theory to spin off into comics.
Well, the simulation theory is
Well-
if you take that approach, then yeah, that would be. I can see people saying that. Yeah.
What was that? What was that TV show that was out in the last little while? Black Mirror? No.
Well, there's
Mr.
Black
Robot?
Mirror. That's on Netflix, and
Well, Mr.
I can't remember.
I think Mr. Robot is what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. So wasn't that kind of similar? Where
Mr.
kind
Robot.
of was a conspiracy TV
Oh, it
show.
that was a conspiracy TV show for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy was a hacker, and there's stuff like weird stuff going on with the So
I mean,
Yeah.
with the advent of more AI now, people are really digging into this.
it'd be
conspiracy
harder to
Mm.
disprove right now than it's ever been, because
Right.
Harder to disprove
there is
that
so
the-
much AI out there.
You think it's harder to disprove that a lot of content comes from?
It's harder. Yeah, it's harder now because
Yes.
there are AI bots out there doing stuff. That you go,
Well,
am
yeah.
I talking to a human being or am I talking to a
Oh,
bot?
okay.
That's
so
what-
harder
that's
to
what I'm
know
saying.
whether you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Right now, it's
Yeah,
the
and the
conspiracy
content
theory
that gets
is easier-
generated.
It's easier to
Yeah.
sell right
Yeah.
now than it's ever been.
Yeah,
So,
the
Right.
content generated is very, very close to being human. It's still a little bit off, but it's so close that
Yeah.
you're starting to see the
I mean,
blur.
Chat GPT, all that
Yeah,
stuff. I mean,
yeah.
you could easily fall into this
Mhm.
rabbit hole.
and I've seen some advertisements that were or just memes where they use somebody's. It's if you look real close, you see it's AI created, but it's awfully close.
Count
It's
the
wild
Yeah.
how it's
Yeah.
ghostly. It's it's weird,
Yeah.
just weird. So
All right.
I can see how that's hard. It's harder to refute now than it's ever been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this would
Yeah.
lend itself really well to some
Mhm.
stories. And getting into the Skynet territory, I think.
Yes.
This one,
Ooh, Denver Airport. Yeah.
Denver Airport. Yeah, see, this is a big conspiracy theory because the Denver Airport has got all these weird
Mhm.
pieces of art
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and then there's people who claim that, and this is what I'm reading this obviously. The most common theory is that the airport is secretly the headquarters of the New World Order, the Illuminati.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. Okay.
Yeah. They spin off alternative.
Okay.
They spin off alternative explanations of the airport's odd decor. For example, an inlay in the floor with the symbols for gold and silver, referencing Colorado's mining history, becomes a secret message about a made-up pathogen. And all the murals and stuff, they're all have hidden messages in the murals and everything.
They do.
And that
We're getting
airport
into
is
national
built
treasure
on top.
territory here.
Yeah. And the airport is built on top of a 6-story deep bunker.
Yep, that's
where
what I
the
heard.
elites will hunker down and ride out the end of the world.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it is really, 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 really weird. That airport and the art is really weird.
I have
and it's
never
so
been
weird.
there.
It's
so
weird
I've never
that
been there.
it's so weird that it's on purpose, and that's why this can take off so well, right? Like you're not authorized to go in any of the places to check it out. So this is so weird. It's so on purpose. There's got to be something. So it's really yeah.
I'm with Kaz on that
Some
one.
somebody's
how many-
big joke is what this is.
I
For
wonder
that,
how many people go to the airport just to study the art, try to figure out what the hidden
Oh
meaning
yeah,
is.
quite a few people do actually.
National treasure.
Uh,
National treasure.
So I've watched videos of people trying to go to certain, like, it's weird because it's set up in such a way that you can go to certain areas, but it's like restricted access, right? But the ramps or whatever you want to call it, like, they're accessible to a point, and then like you start walking down that direction, then somebody comes and says, "No, you can't go there," right? And you're like,
because it's an airport,
like,
right?
okay, yeah, but like
They aren't dressed in robes, are they?
But no, they're not dressed in robes. But where they're going, you're kind of like, like it doesn't seem to be leading to like the normal airport parts. So you're like,
the guy talks
anyways,
Landrew.
yeah. But that said, the if you do see the images and you see people do their explanations of what the images mean, a lot of them make sense, and you're like, huh, okay, there's definitely something odd going on there.
Yeah.
What? I can't tell you, but it's definitely not normal.
Again, it's
modern art.
No, it's
Modern art.
No,
It's weird.
much. Yeah. It's
you haven't been to as many museums as I have.
I've seen modern art.
I know that there's some weird modern art out there.
Man, is there weird.
But some of the art isn't modern art.
Is this
Some
place
of it's
creepy?
weird.
Some of it is very creepy. Some of the murals
Yeah.
are very creepy. You're like, what are they trying to tell me?
I've never
Like a
been to the
woman, a
Denver
child,
airport.
and like a soldier. You're just like, what is going on in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So do you
It's
think
odd.
it would lead itself to a good Dan
100%.
Brown book?
you could
Oh,
write so many stories about
yeah.
what
Oh, yeah.
it is. Even if you just set it in a different time and people are trying to figure out, even if you just did that. Like you
Well,
just
yeah.
said this way in the future and people come to this and they're like, what?
It's an archaeological dig.
Right, this is like Stonehenge in the future. You're coming to this forest.
And it becomes a mecca for people to go to.
Right. It's so interesting. It's so
Oh, that would be a good story.
Yo, wow, that could be interesting. Uh-oh, what's this?
What's this one?
Subliminal
Oh,
messaging.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that think that there are 1 second frames in our programs and our advertisements that are leading us to eat or drink or whatever through subliminal messaging on our TV programs. Now let's take it a step further. And what if it's not advertising that they're doing, but trying to change our behavior?
Well,
that would be a cool story.
Big Brother.
But I mean, that's kind of what that's kind of what marketing is, right? That's kind of what it actually is, right? It's trying to hijack your brain to consume, to go buy.
Part of this theory is I checked something back. This is back in the 70s or 80s. I had read somewhere that there was this conspiracy theory about if you look at the advertisements for alcohol, if you can find a skull and crossbones somewhere in the image.
Oh, really?
In an ad.
In some of them, yeah.
Yeah, and it's true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You actually can find some like a skull or you know or just some weird stuff in some of those ads. And once you find it, you go, they did that. That's purposeful. They did that on purpose. Now, not all of them. Not all of them.
No.
But there were some where it's pretty obvious. So
did they say what it was for?
Yeah.
Did they say what they thought that was?
It was appealing to, because essentially alcohol's poison, and sometimes people are they want to poison themselves. I mean,
so the other aspect of it is so the other aspect of it is that death is compelling. Right. So the subtle trigger of the idea of the death or whatever is a compelling thing that kind of drives you. So that was part of it as well.
I
So
can
now-
definitely see a Twilight Zone episode here
Mhm.
where somebody is subliminally putting messages to kill in your TV
Mhm.
show, and everybody watches like the Disney or whatever like that. It's the most popular Bonanza, whatever.
Mm.
And you get these subliminal messages: kill, kill, kill. Every few seconds, so 1 second flash says kill, and pretty soon all the Americans that are watching the show are turning to their
Turning on each other.
So
yeah.
So the 1 second blips and other things like that, and like Rob mentioned, the
Millisecond blips.
the little skulls and stuff. It is done. How pervasive it is, I can't say, but it is done. I've seen
Yeah.
it.
The
I have
subliminal,
too,
you've
yeah.
seen it? Probably.
Well,
Oh, 100%.
in music too, right? Wasn't the whole music and
music videos? If you watch enough of them, you'll start.
The
backwards
Did you see
stuff
that
in the
blip?
Beatles
Did you just
song?
see that flash? That was a subliminal message that just went by.
lizard people there. Yeah,
We're
the
coming
lizard
to that
people.
one,
like
Pops.
that.
We are. We are coming to that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. But yeah, it, like in the Beatles music, where they would put backwards stuff in, and
Yeah,
if you played it forward, some of it was pretty weird,
yeah.
and it's yeah. Paul is dead.
Yeah, Paul is dead. I actually, played that record backward to see if I could hear it. It does sound like.
Does sound a little like that. It also sounds like a couple of other things. I buried Paul because they claim it was I'm very cold.
Mm-hmm.
It could be either one. So,
all right. I love this one so much.
Oh no!
What is this, Joe?
There is a huge conspiracy theory that a few years ago, my niece turned me on to this one. Apparently, there are all kinds of bird drones out there that we can't tell the difference between them
there aren't birds
and the
anymore.
real ones,
They're
and they are
drones.
all spying on us.
I understand where this could come from because we've gotten to a point where we can do some pretty cool things technologically that would say that this is possible, right? We could do things with insects that are insane.
But don't they have a buzzing sound? Wouldn't you hear them?
Well,
they don't.
No, meaning you wouldn't hear the technology. I mean, sure, you could hear the actual bug, but
it might be covered up by the sound.
No, I mean like
they have cameras. They have cameras that are small enough, like the size of flies, and they fly.
The bird wouldn't be flapping its wings, and you would hear the rotors going instead of.
No. So I mean, unless
depends how far away it is.
Yeah, I thought that the conspiracy was we are using these things as drones, like. We are putting surveillance equipment on
real birds.
No, that's not.
So these are supposed to be mechanical creatures that are.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the bird sitting on the wire outside of your house is actually a drone that's got laser eyes that is looking into your house and stuff like that.
Oh,
my niece was telling me about this a few years ago when we were out on the farm, and she was telling me this, and we were laughing so hard, and just about that time this flock of birds go over, and we just
oh my god.
They heard us. Oh my god.
And the thing is, if you dig into this one a little bit, you find out that it was actually a guy who started this whole thing on purpose.
He did.
He started it all on purpose. What he did was he put this big sign on the back of his van or whatever vehicle he had, stating all this stuff about how there are no more birds. We killed them all and we've replaced them with.
Oh my gosh!
He wanted to see how far he could take it, and he was amazed.
He purposely did.
He was amazed at how far.
And there's people out there that believe it.
Of course, there are gonna be people who believe it. Yeah.
Well, just so you know, they have actually engineers have made drones inspired by birds.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, we can do pretty neat stuff.
That's what makes it plausible. It's plausible. It's improbable, but it's plausible. It could happen, but it's unlikely. Very unlikely.
And
There
why
might be-
would they put
There
all
might be
that?
some out there.
The thing is, there's easier ways to spy on us than
Exactly.
create.
I mean,
I
I'm
still don't-
sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't
I
trust
mean,
my Alexa.
It's got two cameras on.
Right. The
They can-
level of
they can-
investment, they don't even need to do this.
No,
Listen
you
to
got it in
this.
your pocket.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Alexa, are you spying on me?
No, I'm not spying on you.
Of
I'm
course.
designed to protect your privacy. You can learn more by visiting Amazon.com.
Alexa, stop.
That's so.
I don't trust her though.
Yeah.
I was watching the 2020 or something like that here a few weeks back, and somebody was murdered in their house, and they said right then the police actually asked Amazon to provide them with Alexa's voice records
Recording.
for that particular residence to see if they could hear her. I'm like, why would they need to do that unless while she's dying, she's going, Alexa, record this.
Hey,
And
you
she's
know
being
what?
stabbed to death.
That is a note to self. Like, if you are in trouble, say it. Say that keyword. Maybe that'll deter. I know that's the last thing you'll be thinking about.
Well,
Yeah.
But here's another thing. My wife and I we have a computer downstairs in our family room where we spend most of our time, and we'll be sitting there talking about this, that, or the other thing about we need to go out and look for such and such, and my wife will go, oh, well, let me go Google it. So she starts typing, and before she can even type the first two letters, what pops up? But exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So
I've
you
had
go,
that happen to me. Or advertisement at the day after you've been talking about it with your hubby.
Yep.
All of
Yep.
a sudden, the next
Yeah.
day, your
Oh,
feed
your
is
phones are
flooded-
absolutely listening to you.
flooded with
so
advertisements.
we don't need birds sitting on the wire to
Right.
check
Yeah.
us out. We're already
Your
being,
phone is spying on you right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and we know why they're doing it. It's to try and sell us stuff.
Yep.
This one's for Pops. You,
Uh-oh, here
you
we
out
go.
there, Pops? Reptilians are running the government.
The deep state is lizards.
That's right. You just got to look for the little knob on their neck.
Hmm.
I struggle with this one because why? If you can clone, if you can change, I mean, I just don't. The level of effort, like, I just don't know why you would do it, right? Like,
Well, exactly.
what would be the benefit?
Exceptional claims need exceptional proof. That's close to what
I don't know.
Sagan
This is one of
said.
the most popular ones. The eyes tell the story.
I know.
Okay. All right,
So-
Pops,
so,
you want to pop in here and discuss that one?
Well, now
what about
this
the
this
eye?
also depends on whether or not you want to get into you can go all the way back to Noah on this one if you wanted to.
This is a rabbit hole.
It can be.
Yeah.
So there's I mean you can bring whole wackadoodle religious stuff into it as well.
Hmm.
So
They have nictitating lenses. Is that how you tell them apart?
yeah. So although
The extra eyelid, the extra clear eyelid, is that what you're talking about?
Kaz, have you
All
seen
right.
have you seen the videos?
No, lizard people, no.
No? Oh, okay.
This reminds me of the TV show V.
Yeah, V was
Yeah.
a show back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Well, which
there were
version,
people-
Kaz? The old one, back when we were
I love
kids.
the old one. I love the old one.
Okay,
I grew up on the
I
old
know about it. I've never seen it, so
You've never seen the original V?
No,
Are you
I knew-
serious?
I didn't grow up with a television, so
Oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Oh, it's so horrible. It's so great. Like,
Oh, there's
Diana-
actually books out about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Pop says there's books out about it, or
Books
stuff
and
out about it.
videos. You can fall
I
down
mean,
this
this is-
rabbit hole real
exactly.
easy.
This is a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah, it is very deep rabbit hole. Rabbit hole, yes.
All right. So would this be a good subject for a comic book?
oh, absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah!
Don't they do it in the X-Men already?
Exactly.
There's
there's
tons about the
tons
lizard.
about the lizard people. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I am now going to have to go look. Thank you very much, Pops.
It is a
Mhm.
rabbit
Just
hole.
what I
with a
need is
unicorn.
another obsession.
hmm
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, flat Earth. Yeah.
But you heard about the recent thing, though, right? They invited.
No,
people-
what?
they
Do tell.
invited
Yes.
people to like what is it,
Uh-huh.
the Arctic or the North Pole or something to witness.
Arctic. It was the Antarctic, I believe.
Yeah,
It
to
was the
witness
Antarctic.
a phenomena that will only be true if the Earth was round. They invited a bunch of flat earthers
Yeah.
to do it, so
Yeah.
they started recanting, and their community just dogged them out. That is what is at least put
Yeah.
out there, which is funny.
Yep.
Deep state lizards.
Oh, my
Yep.
God.
They live in the swamp. Yeah.
That's right.
But they,
Uh,
but before that, they put out some pretty interesting arguments why the Earth
Like
was.
what?
I mean, I don't know them all because I didn't really buy them. But
Well,
if you listen
the
to
one
him
that gets
speak,
me is
yeah.
that Antarctica is on the rim all the
Oh,
way
the ice
around the
wall?
disk.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And then there's stuff.
Antarctica is
Yeah,
all
there's
around
stuff
the
beyond
rim.
the wall.
Ice wall around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what holds everything.
That's
So,
why
but
So
you can't
Antarctica
drive-
is
that's why you can't
basically
go off the edge.
so Antarctica is basically the border of the
The world. Yes.
puzzle.
Between
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
the world and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dropping off the edge.
Yeah.
And is it
exactly.
possible to drop off the edge?
Well, no. Well, there's still now. There's like other like continents and stuff on the other side of the wall.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
On the
Uh-huh.
bottom side, like a flipped coin?
No,
No,
not on
no,
the bottom side.
once you go-
Extending past the wall, so we don't know how big the disc is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's on the back of a
Again-
turtle, I thought.
Again, to get deep into it, you'd have to listen to somebody who's compelling, make the arguments, and then you'll be like, okay.
It's plausible. It's plausible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you get to the point where
So now I will suggest that one of the compelling arguments that does exist for it is how do they fly from Asia to South America, and they cut across, they go to LA, then they fly across to Florida, to Miami, and then or to Atlanta, and then they fly down to Brazil. Why can't they just go straight to Brazil?
From
So-
where?
Huh? So from Asia.
Oh,
So if you're
yeah.
flying to Brazil, you
Uh-huh.
you cut across, you fly to Los Angeles, then you go to Miami or Atlanta, and then you fly from there down to South America. So you do this L shape, and they ask you why do they do that instead of just flying straight. So there's some interesting questions there.
Yeah.
But
So you have some place to land in case you have an
Yeah, that's an
emergency?
awfully long ways over
Yeah.
water
Yeah.
without fuel.
Yeah.
I personally know that when my son and his squadron fly, they have to either make pit stops along the way. If they're taking the F-35s
yeah,
to Europe or something like that.
we only have so
They
much
either
gas.
have- Yeah, they either have to make pit stops along the way, or they have to have a fueling plane,
Fueling plane,
fuel
yeah.
in midair if it's too
And
long.
where does
because
that
they run
fueling
out of
plane
fuel.
come from? You know, it has to come from somewhere. So yeah, even then they have to have someplace where they take off from to go up and fuel them. So yeah,
So they can't be over water for too long because they do.
and
they
the
do
Pacific
run out of
is
fuel.
big. It is big.
Yep.
So are we giving the thumbs up and thumbs down for these? I forgot one of the last ones.
Well,
This one's just plain old
Yeah.
ridiculous. Well, the lizards.
Oh, the lizards I'm a thumbs down to. I don't think lizard people are
yeah,
Yeah,
lizard people.
lizards people.
Silly.
It,
They
it
may
makes a
exist,
great
but I don't think
story.
that
I
lizard
sometimes get
people
kind of dry
exist.
skin that looks lizardy, but that's about
You grizzled
And-
lizard.
it. Exactly.
How does the fake sunlight only part of the flat Earth? Hey, that's a really good question.
You know,
The
they
sun rises
they will
in the east
explain it.
everywhere.
If you watch some videos, they will explain a whole bunch. I mean, it's not, you know, whether or not that's true. It's a different.
They have compelling arguments. Yes.
Right, they will make compelling arguments.
Mm.
All right, so the previous one, lizards. Obviously, I don't believe that conspiracy, but I give it a thumbs up for story possibilities. Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
like
Yeah.
two thumbs up
Oh,
for
good.
story
Oh,
possibilities.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, for story possibilities on this one, did not was it Terry Pratchett write the Discworld?
Yeah.
Isn't the premise of that the world is flat? I don't know.
It's not exactly flat. It's essentially a cylinder.
Oh, a cylinder.
With open
Okay.
ends. It's with open ends.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now there's another one, Discworld. I don't know anything about that particular one, but this is But there's one where it's essentially manufactured. It's a big ribbon that runs completely around the star.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's weird.
So, can you think of any stories that you could concoct that uses the flat Earth conspiracy? I really can't come up with much.
Yeah, all you'd have to do.
But Kaz is the writer.
I mean, all you'd have to do is set an exploration that is looking for something completely different, and then they get to the wall, right?
Yeah.
And then they go over the wall, and then they're like, "Well, what the heck?"
Over or under the wall, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a whole story about what happens. Yeah, that one
you could treat it pretty similarly to the old whole civilization inside the Earth. You know, you go through you go through the whole of the Arctic, and then you go inside, and there's a whole other world.
The land that time forgot.
On the inside, yeah, the land that time forgot.
Are we gonna do that one? Do you have that one?
Land?
You have the inner Earth theory one?
I do not, but we can discuss it after I'm through here because I only have like a couple left. So we will discuss the inner chemtrails.
True.
Didn't we prove chemtrails was a real thing though? Isn't that not a conspiracy anymore? Didn't they admit?
It's been admitted. Yes.
They admitted.
Yes.
Condensation.
No, it's not. No. They've admitted it. The governments have admitted that they're actually spraying stuff in the skies.
Yeah, they admitted it.
You guys are full of it.
No, I'm not. The Spanish government actually admitted that they were doing it.
They did. Not crazy.
They're seeding the chemtrails. Yes. All planes make chemtrails because it's the condensation generated by the plane.
Right. You're right, but they did admit. There have been admissions.
Not all of them do it.
Not all.
There may be some instances where people have done that.
Right. Not every plane.
I don't know of any, but
I think this is a super crop duster.
Yeah, I wish they would seed it so we get more. They need to learn how to seed the sky so we get more rain where we're getting so dry.
Oops, sorry.
So yeah, I wish we could do that. So
there are patents for chemical dispersion. I mean, have you seen the cloud making machine? But we're not gonna get into that. But there are patents for chemical dispersion. And then
chemtrail method. Chemtrail. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Yes, chemtrail method of military geoengineering for changing the climate, environmental and health risks, and commercial reasons for participating in climate policies.
Yeah.
Four employees of Spain's meteorological agency have confessed that Spain has been being sprayed nationwide by aircraft. So that was in 2015. That was in 2015.
Not every plane is doing it, but there have been efforts.
Yeah, it's plausible. It could actually be done. It actually could be done. I don't think it's being done, except
they've admitted to doing it.
If this particular Spanish are admitting to it, apparently
they've admitted to doing it, but it doesn't. That's not every plane all the time. That's not. That's not like.
So your average airliner full of passengers. It's not.
So interestingly enough, the reason why Spain was doing it was to keep rain away and allow temperatures to rise, which creates a summer climate for tourism.
They want the temperatures to rise? Good God. Okie dokie.
Not insanity.
Right. Story that you could do about chemtrails.
Oh,
so yeah, you could do all sorts of stories with that.
Well, you could combine two. You could combine two of them together.
Oh yeah.
Put stuff in the contrails to turn everyone into a lizard person.
There you go. The lizard people are doing it to see the Earth. Yeah, you could do it.
And then they go to the edge of the flat Earth and fall off the edge.
No, they go to the edge of the flat Earth to find the enemies of the lizard people. Bring them back. Big war, big clash.
All right. We need to talk to Roland about doing.
And then we pull in the Bigfoot and yeah.
Oh, and then cat and mouse saves everybody. That's how you
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
That's how you rope it all in.
Bingo.
That's how you rope it all in.
Alrighty.
This sounded like a fantastic comic book, and then Rob, you said you've never done a Western or a romance, so now let's throw the Western and romance in there as well. And
actually, the most recent issue of Boston Bombers I'm working on is essentially a romance. So I can't claim that anymore. That one is now checked.
So the only thing you haven't done is the Western, then, eh?
We can do it.
This is one of
there
the
may
two.
be some other genres I haven't thought of out there that I haven't.
All right.
One of the two most popular conspiracy theories
in
the world.
Yeah.
Roswell.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question for you guys now. So out of the States, there's been a lot of so-called disclosures coming out of the government, even back into the Biden administration, that the aliens exist. What are your guys' thoughts on this? That your government is starting to supposedly fess up.
They say non-human entity, right? Like,
well, I don't know if aliens have. I don't know if aliens have bothered to come to Earth. That it's possible. I will admit it's possible, especially in ancient times when we've got stuff that we can't explain. But we cannot be so conceited as to think that we are the only intelligent race in the universe.
Well, there is that. Yeah.
Yep. Whether they found a flying saucer in Roswell, New Mexico, maybe they were just putting that out.
That one, I can't. I some days I go, yeah, maybe. Other days I go, that's so silly. But
Area 51.
This one. Yeah, the Roswell one especially, because I've seen enough evidence on both sides of that issue, and I'm going, I don't know what to believe here. So
isn't that where they were doing the nuclear testing?
Well, they were testing experimental aircraft at Area 51. So, and there were,
but that's not Roswell.
We've seen photographs of saucer-shaped aircraft that they were testing. So, and it could very well have been what they said it was, a weather balloon. Well, and from some of the eyewitness accounts, they go, that was no weather balloon. So there's enough stuff to keep it nebulous. So we don't have a really good answer on that one yet. Now, as for the investigating whether aliens have been here or not, or what UFOs are. Now they have another name for them now. I don't know why they changed the name of them. Yeah, I'm going, why? UFO is fine. There are some that are not explainable. There are a very small number of all the sightings, but there are some that they can't explain, and they go, we don't know what these are. So there's some stuff out there we don't know, or there's a even bigger cover up to cover that up. So
now, did I ever tell you guys about the UFOs I saw?
Yeah.
I think you.
And you were smoking what at the time?
I wasn't smoking anything. So my sister and I, we went out for a late night run
I'm
to.
Just kidding. But
Go
ahead.
We went for a late night run to the pharmacy. The pharmacy. We went to the pharmacy to get some stuff, and then we were driving home. And
what were you taking from the pharmacy?
The street. I think we went to go get some chips or something. We were in Ottawa. If you're driving north, you drive north towards the Ottawa River, and the river cuts through between Ontario and Quebec, and the other side of the river is Quebec, and so one side is Ottawa, the other side is Hull, which is the cities. It's basically all one big city, but the river runs through it. And then we were driving back north from the pharmacy and looking across, there was 3 lights that were going by really slow, super slow. And the thing that was interesting was they went like, the first one went blink, blink, gone. The next one, blink, blink, gone. Like but they were super slow going across the sky, and there was 3 of them, and they just slowly blinked out of existence. They didn't fly off. They didn't do anything. They just disappeared. So
they winked at you.
That was my experience. Now they were at quite some distance away. So, but they were not flying at normal airplane speed. They were not normal things, whatever they were. So
but not too recently we had all the sightings of drones on the East Coast. We had a lot of those. I think
Didn't they prove that it was Amazon drones introducing their delivery?
Some of them were privately owned.
I did not know that.
Wait.
Yeah.
And did they ever figure out what happened at the mall down in was it Miami?
They explain it as there were some kids in like a fight and like fireworks, I guess, that were being let off. So all of those cops showed up.
Yeah, it was a lot of cops. Well, I saw some of the footage that came in from inside the mall. That's pretty freaky stuff, whatever that was.
They said, I mean, when you hear a cop explain it, they called in like a certain code, and that code is like a kind of massive response thing. But I mean, we don't even have to go to the mall. If you remember the Chicago O'Hare incident where people in the concourse, the pilots, the tower were all talking about the thing that shot up and left a hole in the clouds? I mean, do you guys remember that?
I hadn't heard that one. No.
It made the news. It was all over the place, and then people stopped talking about it, right?
Yeah.
No, and the FAA didn't even. They said, we're not going to investigate. You're not going to investigate people in the concourse.
That's a cover up.
The tower saying that this thing shot up and it left a hole in the cloud.
Did they have pictures of the hole?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Now my dad swears he saw one. I mean, this is years ago when I was a child.
They don't necessarily have the pictures, but they have the actual recordings of the people calling it in. Okay. Calling it into the tower, calling it in. Like they have all the workers calling this thing in.
How recent was it?
I think this was 2000 something, early 2000, maybe 2000.
Okay,
2006.
Probably before we all had these in our.
No, I think we did. I think we did, but probably not going live like everybody goes live now. Like that would be
everybody does video now.
Yeah.
But
the Miami thing.
Why
didn't people go live in Miami? Would be the interesting thing, right? Because we were at that point where you could just literally go live and show the big.
Well, the George Floyd. That was something. That was
everybody
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now
my dad swears he saw one in the 60s, and my dad is he's not prone to flights of fancy. Okay, and he was out in the yard after dark one night, looking towards the north, and he says a cigar-shaped kind of gently, slowly came into view, and then hovered, and it was gone.
That's the description, cigar-shaped craft, yeah.
And it was just, he says it just accelerated in a flat second. It was gone. He says, how is that possible?
Wow.
So,
and he saw it. He said he saw that firsthand. He saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's out looking out over the fields. So, yeah.
I wish I had seen one.
Yeah. Do you though? Do you wish you'd seen? I mean, it kind of.
Yes.
Really? You think that wouldn't change your brain in such a way?
I would love to see.
I'd love to change my brain.
Well, they're I mean, and in the 70s, I tried to change my brain. So
that's how you ended up in comics.
I tried.
Yes, we shan't discuss the 70s.
I succeeded to a small amount, but I burned a few brain cells.
All right, last one, I think. This is of course this is the
quintessential,
the quintessential, and my husband is obsessed with this. I think he's on his 6th book.
They're supposed to be releasing some new information about some information.
Can't wait.
I don't know if it's new or anything. What they've released so far is just old rehash.
He is convinced that there was a second shooter and they killed Ruby to cover it up.
Yeah,
or Oswald. Ruby killed Oswald to cover it up.
And, the story is plausible. It is very plausible.
Does he connect it to aliens? I've heard theories that say it was because of, I'm serious. I've heard theories. That
No, Kaz.
aliens.
It was the lizard people in the government.
There's probably that theory out there.
Actually, the
There's
CIA is involved in Cuba and Russia, and it's just Oswald did spend some time in Russia and Cuba, so that's who knows. But here's the thing: if it was a big conspiracy, again, if you got more than 3 people involved, 2 or 3 people, somebody's going to break and tell the whole story.
Think about how many
for the long. Well, no. Here's a really good example. For the longest time, we didn't know who Deep Throat was, right?
Yeah.
And then finally, as the guy was he was dying. He had dementia and was leaving this earth, and he admitted he was Deep Throat. And Woodward and Bernstein said, yeah, he was Deep Throat. So if more than 2 people are involved, somebody's going to break eventually. So using that. That's why I don't think there was a conspiracy to kill JFK.
Really?
No, I don't. I really don't.
Oh,
I still
convinced it was the mob.
The one bullet theory is really hard to live with, but yeah.
Yeah,
the
one
it was this
bullet theory is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think it was just a lone wolf. I think Oswald was just knowing what we do about Oswald. I don't think he'd be involved in something like he was trying to get involved. He was trying to impress those people, I think, but I don't think he was part of a conspiracy. That's what I think. But I have nothing more than what I've read. Now I haven't read all these conspiracy theory books, which go into all the details about the CIA.
One of them was written
by.
One of them was written by one of the bodyguards that were there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard about that one. So yeah, but that's what I believe happened. I think it's everything else is just there's too many parts to fit together that somebody along the way would break and we'd know more about. Now, if they come out tomorrow with information in the archives that blows that out of the water, I'll go, okay, sure. But so far that hasn't happened. So,
well, it'll be interesting to see what happens when they release that info.
I don't think
it will.
You don't think they will?
I don't think they would release anything that's self-incriminating, though. They're not going to be like, "Oh yeah, we did it."
Well, everybody that was involved is dead by now.
That's
pretty much. Most everybody's. I mean, there might still be a few people that were, might have been peripherally involved. That I think most everybody's dead.
I'm trying to remember which president was it that went in and said, "Oh yeah. As soon as I see the information on this, I'll release it." And then after they saw the information, says, "I can't release it."
Clinton. Clinton. It's actually been done since Carter.
Wow.
If we started way back then, I'm going to release it. Nothing comes out. And then the next president.
So does that
release it? Nothing happens.
So does that add to the conspiracy?
I don't think there's anything to release myself, but
yeah. So
neither here nor there.
Interesting. All right.
Kaz, you wanted to circle back to what is it? The center of the earth thing?
No, the inner earth. Have you guys heard about that? There's like this hole.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it the North Pole or is it the Arctic or something?
It's in the North. It's in the North Pole. Is how it's been.
Well, there's a giant hole in Russia.
Edgar Rice Burroughs did it. I believe it was at the North Pole. You'd go through this cave.
The land that time forgot, or something like that.
Yeah, and then there's another one from Arthur Conan Doyle, Professor Challenger, and where they go to the center of the earth. And so yeah, there's there was this whole belief back in those days that there was on the inner side of the crust another planet, and in the very center of that was the light source. Was a light source of some kind, and it's really interesting. I was reading through each of the Tarzan books by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I come to one where Tarzan goes to the Earth's core, and there's
Okay.
also Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote a whole series of books that this was a crossover with. Pellucidar, I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't know, but it was a whole series of books about the
Journey
adventures
to the
inside
Center
them.
of the Earth. I remember that movie. I loved it.
Yeah, excellent
Wasn't that
movie.
Doug
Yeah.
McClure?
Yes, I think you're right. I think it was Doug McClure.
Childhood crush.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inner Earth. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of conspiracy stories about the Inner Earth theory,
Yeah.
World War II, and
That's
then
right. And some people say that's where the lizard people come from, but just to tie it in, but yeah,
And
that's where some
Bigfoot.
people say the lizard people come from, is the center of the earth.
I think JFK has been done to death, so I probably wouldn't be interested in any more stories there. But this one, especially if you throw the lizard people in, that right there, I'm there. Write that story.
It could be really interesting, but yeah, it's been done. Like I said, it was
Oh,
a whole series of books by Edgar Rice
It could
Burroughs
always be
about it.
done again.
Yeah.
Well, there's tons of different takes too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's got endless possibilities.
Absolutely.
Didn't they just have one a TV show here that flopped? What was it called? Took place in the tar pits, fell in on TV, and they dropped through this big hole in the ground, and we started watching it, and then we gave up on it. It was stupid.
By David on the program. What about the Phoenix Lights? What do you guys think about that? Do you remember that?
No, explain it.
You don't remember the Phoenix Lights?
I might have if you jog my memory, but I'm old.
Is this all from your area? Because we have some we call the spook lights in Southwest Missouri.
No,
down in Joplin.
Oh no, the Phoenix Light. It was an event. Was it in the 90s or something where this big craft went over Phoenix?
I think I've seen it. Yes.
I think I have heard about
that.
This
Looked like a boomerang.
It looked like a boomerang, yeah.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah,
lights
yeah.
went out kind of one by one on the.
Now that you're talking about it, I do remember it.
And it
then
moved too
everybody-
slow to be a winged craft. Yeah.
And it wasn't. It didn't look like flares, right? The way they dissipated or the way they hovered didn't. Flares don't do that. Like what? I'm just interested. Some people say that was an alien craft. Some people say that was a government craft. Some people say that was just flares.
Weather balloon.
Well, they don't say weather balloon.
It could be
That's their typical response.
Oh, yeah,
It's a weather balloon.
And then there's, like I said, the spook lights down in Southwest Missouri.
Oh, wait.
Pops,
you saw it? Did you see it? Really? You lived there at the time, saw it, flew over Sunny Slope? Are you serious? You saw it?
Wow. That's cool.
I'm impressed.
So that's the Phoenix Lights he saw?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're saying that it was a skydiving team called the Arizona Skyhawks. Can you confirm whether or not
bubble here?
He said
it
it was
from Area 50? No. But I'm like, so if he saw it, like the explanation, does the explanation add up to what he saw? So supposedly it was a skydiving team with lights.
Well, he said it flew
with
over.
flares, maybe.
So I don't. He said no skydiver.
That's the story they put out to cover it up. Come on.
No skydivers.
Weather balloons. It was skydivers.
Yeah,
So it's interesting to relive this stuff, and does your perception of what happened, meet what the explanation is, and how insulted are you when they say that that's the explanation? Like, I know what I saw, and you're telling me that those were skydivers. Those were skydivers.
If they were skydivers, that's like a huge whatever it is.
I would love to see something like that. If it really happened, I would love it. It would blow my mind.
Yeah. I'm looking at the image of whatever this thing is. Unless the skydivers had some ginormous cloth
connecting them, so they descend.
I mean, like, it's huge. It's gargantuan.
That's interesting.
There's just no way.
Well, you know what? We could go on for another 2 hours on this, but we've already done an hour and 10 minutes.
After we got
So
started.
yeah,
It was a
yes, we
conspiracy.
finally and you know what? We're going to have to do a second round of this because this is a fun topic.
Yeah, this is a really good topic.
We
yeah.
could go. There's.
Next time. Next
You
time
didn't
we're
even
gonna
talk
have
about Bigfoot. Come on.
Oh, we
Yeah,
didn't talk about
exactly.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, Sasquatch,
that's,
Mobile
Devil,
monster. I mean,
Mothman.
those are
That's
we
a
didn't do
those
that.
aren't
conspiracy.
exactly conspiracies. Those
Oh,
are
okay.
urban
Those are
legends. Yeah. So next time though that we're going to do this, and we will do this one again, we're going to have Pops on because I think he's a font of knowledge.
Mm.
You have to pick one.
you have to
well,
pick
we
one to
already
make a book
did.
about.
Yeah, we're going to send
there were several
aliens.
here we could have done a book about.
Yeah, aliens came out of the center of the earth and assassinated JFK.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was the lizard people.
Yeah.
Or no,
exactly.
the lizard people. Yeah, the lizard people.
Yeah, the lizard people came out.
And then you have to go to the edge of the earth in order to get the answers.
And then they peel off their masks. You know, they're disguised as human, and they peel off their masks like on Mission Impossible.
Oh,
and they're a lizard underneath.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up,
We
and
can
we
do
are
it.
going to do a second installment of this because this is just too much fun, and we're going to have Pops on next time because he's a blast.
Yep.
And I know he eats this stuff up with a spoon. So
Yeah.
all right, as we like to say when we wrap up our shows, thank you for coming, everybody, and make mine Silverline.
Hi, I'm Greg Horn. Make mine Silverline. Hi, I'm Greg Horn.